In this video, I want to give you 5 tips to instantly up your project management game. Tip number 1 is what I call the scope process. Whenever you're challenged by a difficult situation or a question you don't know how to answer, stop. Don't rush in to trying to fix it or answer it. Stop. Clarify what the situation is, what the question is, what the intent is behind the question, what the facts are behind the situation. And then weigh up your options. How could you respond? What are your choices? And what's the right one to adopt, or the right sequence of components to implement? And only then should you proceed. But proceeding and keeping going can be foolish. You might not be responding properly to the situation or answering the question in a way that meets the needs of the person who asked it. So constantly evaluate the response, the reaction that you're getting. Is your answer, is your response suiting the situation? If it isn't, if you've got any evidence that you're going wrong, stop. Clarify what's going on, look at what your options are now, and proceed again and continue to evaluate. That's the scope process, and it's one of my keys to success as a project manager or any form of project professional. Number 2, look for the big lever on your project. Every project has its own characteristics, but my experience is that every project has one main lever, one primary route to seizing control of your project and maintaining that control, if not through the whole life of the project, for a stage or a significant part of a stage. On some projects I've worked on, that's been risk management, and I've dedicated as much as half of my time to actively working the risk register. On others, it's monitoring milestones and achievements. On some, it's the quality of deliverables. And on others, it's managing people and what they're doing and when they're doing it. If you can figure out what that big lever is and you can give a disproportionate amount of your attention to that, then you'll be successful in controlling your project. Number 3, multitasking does not work. And that's a real pain if you've got a big complex project where you need to be here and you need to be there. You've got this to think about and you've got that to think about and this to do and that to do and this person to speak to and that person to speak to. Your brain gets overloaded. What works is monotasking, doing one thing at a time, ideally focusing on it from start to completion. But if you really can't do that, then we're looking at what I call serial monotasking. Do one thing, put it down, do another, and then go back. And the ideal time span for serial monotasking is chunks of around 20 to 40 minutes. If the chunk size is too small, then the putting it down and picking up the next one uses up too much time and it's very wasteful. If, on the other hand, the chunk size is too great and you've left something started, put it down and gone on to something else and for too long worked on it, by the time you come back to the first thing you have forgotten a lot and it's very wasteful because you've got to relearn what you knew. You've got to remind yourself, refresh your memory about where you were when you left off. So, monotasking is the ideal. Serial monotasking in chunks of 20 to 40 minutes is the next best that you can achieve. Number 4. I think every project manager knows that you need a communications plan. So that's not my tip that's going to raise your game. My tip that's going to raise your game is, as part of your communications plan, build yourself a message calendar. As part of your planning process at the start of each stage, anticipate the key dates, the key cycles, and who you're going to communicate with and when, and build a calendar of key communications, who they're going to, and what the main messages are going to be. I learned this from the political sphere. This is what politicians do during an administration. But it really works because, let's face it, projects are political in nature. A small p, yes, this isn't national politics or party politics, but wherever you put two humans in a room together, you've got politics. Projects are politics, and playing the game of politics properly means effective communication, and that means good, regular, frequent, and efficient messaging. Number 5. As a project manager, you'll have loads of stuff on your plate, and it's very tempting to say yes to all of it because that's how you got where you are today. You got good at saying yes to stuff and delivering it. And you know what? The alternative is saying no, and that just sounds negative. And what serious project manager wants to come across as a negative person? But you do need to turn down the opportunity to do loads of things which do not properly contribute to your goals, your objectives, and delivering the project accountably, to time, to budget, and to specification. So you need to learn to say no, but transform no from a negative NO to a positive, noble objection. And a noble objection is when you decline to do something for the right reasons because it is not the strategic thing that needs to get done. If you do it, it will take away time and energy and attention from something that has far higher priority. And remember, to be properly noble, a noble objection must also be made in a courteous, polite, respectful manner. But if you can learn to make noble objections and to say no to the right things, that means you've got more time to do the things you really ought to be doing. And that way, you'll be more successful as a project manager and you will really up your game. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give us a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that we can let you know as soon as I drop a new video on YouTube. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you in the next one.